Okay, I am here with Cerda, who is part of the Ben Carson group here that is set up. Sarah, let me ask you the most obvious question first. Why Ben Carson?
Well, how many hours do you have? I could talk for days about why Dr. Carson will make such a great president. But really what turned me on to Dr. Carson was in 2013 at the National Prayer Breakfast. And he spoke out boldly and unapologetically about one, political correctness, two, President Obama's key policies. And I was a college student at the University of Rhode Island at the time. And I get bombarded by political correctness every single day. And to have such a strong candidate that spoke up against that, I was just like, who is this man? And I need to know more about him. So from there, I kind of went on a Ben Carson discovery journey, you could call it. And I read all of his books, and I did a lot of research to see who this man was, what did he do in his life, and I came to the conclusion that Dr. Carson is a true statesman. He is someone that wants to do what he can to better our nation and better our country. And he is someone that can truly unite and heal America. And
well, a doctor would be a person who's a healer, wouldn't he?
Exactly, no pun intended, right?
Now you said you're from Rhode Island. Now obviously I'm from Massachusetts, and we are surrounded by seas of blue. It's got to be very hard to be an activist, especially for a presidential candidate who's a Republican in Rhode Island. How have you been received at your college when you came out as a Ben Carson volunteer and have done any of that work, or have you done any of that in Rhode Island?
Definitely. I am the Northeast Political Director for the 2016 committee, so I have the opportunity to advocate for Dr. Carson throughout the Northeast, so pretty much everything up to Maine all the way down to D.C.
That's a pretty big responsibility for a young lady.
It is, yes sir. Though, especially on campus, I was known as a conservative in all my classes. With that being said, there was a couple of things I had to do. One, I never tried to hide it. You know, I would be, hey, I disagree with that statement, and yes, I would be bombarded and, you know, kind of definitely
this sounds so familiar.
More harshly, you know, than other students, but I thought it was important that I didn't just back down. With that being said, I definitely you always had to make sure you kept up on your reading, because you always knew your professor would call on you, right? But being a strong, you know, when I came out as a Carson supporter on campus, the college Republicans, of course, you know, were supportive and were excited, you know, to get involved and to help me in my journey in any way possible. But you definitely have those people who write on your Facebook or tweet at you that are your friends that disagree with a lot of what Dr. Carson stands for. And you do have to deal with that. And, you know, one of the best things I say is that, you know, I feel that this is the best man for the job. I understand that you're never going to find a candidate that you agree on everything with. But out of all the candidates and the potential candidates, I know for myself in this country, Dr. Carson is that man that can truly, you know, move America into a great future.
Now, there are, of course, a lot of candidates here. Rand Paul is speaking while we're doing this interview, and you have your booth. The Ben Carson booth was here last year as well, but of course, much more media interest this year. How have you guys been received by the various activists here?
Definitely. We've been received extremely well. Everyone has come up to us and been warm and welcoming, even, you know, if they're a Carson supporter or, you know, a Rand Paul supporter. Everyone's been really excited to see that we are here and that we have a strong presence here as well. We do have bags for everyone, so when everyone yesterday morning as well as today morning, when you went into the main ballroom for breakfast, you saw our Carson bags and our swag bags, as we like to call them, everywhere. And we wanted to make sure, the biggest thing is we wanted to get the information of Dr. Carson, what he stands for, his ideas, goals, and objectives for the country, and to restore the country. We wanted to get that into the hands of, you know, New Hampshire activists and New Hampshire voters. And that's really the main reason why we wanted to do those swag bags.
Finally, if people want to find out more about Ben Carson's potential run, since he is not officially announced yet, where should they go?
Go to the 2016committee.org.
And if you are in New England and you want to find out, obviously you're the New England coordinator, where should they get a hold of you if they want to either schedule Dr. Carson for an appearance or find out about starting a group for Ben Carson in their community or area?
Definitely, you can do a couple of things. One, of course, email me at dealacerdapolitics@gmail.com. That is quite a long email address, so the best way to get in touch with me is if you go to 2016committee.org. We have a volunteer section on our website, and if you click to volunteer, what will happen is it will send me an email, and then I will follow up with you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.